Hello, viewers. So here we'll be looking at some old exam questions. So here, what can we do? We have question number one. Question number one, you have a system, and we want to write the solution. We want to write the solution in a matrix form, right? So let's see what happened here. We have that this is a system. So first of all, we'll write it in the form of a matrix. This is going to be 3 minus 5, 2 minus 3, xy. And this is going to be minus 18 minus 9. So clearly, if you want to get x, xy is just going to be the inverse of the first matrix of this matrix. The inverse, then multiply by minus 8 and what? Minus 9. So what is happening here is just what we discussed earlier. This is like your ax equals to b, right? And it means that x is just going to be a inverse multiplied by b. So let's find the inverse of this one. This is a 2 by 2 matrix. So the inverse will be the determinant, which is going to be 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. And you have minus 9 plus a 10. Right. And then this will become minus 3. This will become 5. This is minus 2. And this will become 3. Then all of it multiply by minus 9. Now with this, minus 9 plus 10 is just 1. So you have 1 over 1 into minus 3 minus 2, 5, 3, minus 18 minus 9. So with this, we will get that what? Here is just 1. So this is what we have left. Minus 3, minus 2, 5, 3, and minus 9. But if we look at the option, do we have anything like this? I don't think so. We don't have any. We don't have any like that. So the only place where we have this one here, minus 8 and minus 18 minus 9 is this one. So we have minus 18 minus 9. Here we have minus 18 minus 9. But if you look at the matrices here, they are not the same. So this is minus 3, 5, minus 2, 3. So now what we will see here also the same. This is minus 5. But if you look at this clearly, we can factor out something here. This is matrix multiplication. This one is what's minus 18. This minus 18, we can factor out minus 3. So we can factor out minus 3 because this you can write it as minus 3 times what? 6 and 3. Okay. And also we know that this is scalar multiplication. So this minus 3, we can just multiply it with this matrix. So this will become 9 minus 15, then 6, then minus 9. And then you will have this one, 6 and 3. Right? So this is just using some properties of scalar multiplication. You can factor out minus 3 from this matrix and then multiply it with this one. So the right answer here, it's what? It's A. All right, let's see the next question. So question number 2, it says you have a matrix A, you want to find the sum of elements in the first column of what? A inverse. So you have to find A inverse. And how do you find A inverse? This is going to be the same what we did, 1, 3, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4. And then you augment this with 0, with what? With 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. And then we try to convert this to what? To an identity matrix using row operation. Okay. So this is already 1. Then we can have minus R1 plus R2 and minus R1 plus R3. This will keep this as 1, 3, 3. And this will keep this as 0. So minus 3 plus 4 is 1. Minus 3 plus 3 is 0. Minus 1 plus 0 is minus 1. 0 and 1, it's 1. 0 and 0, it's still 0. And then we can have minus R. This is R1 plus, yeah, this is R2. Yes, okay. Yeah, so let's do minus R1 plus R2. Let's do it on the same level. So let me write it here, minus R1 plus R2. And this one is minus R1 plus R3. So this is also a 0. And then you have minus 3 plus 3. This is going to be 0 also. Minus 3 plus 4, which is 1. Minus 3 plus 0 is going to be minus 3. Minus 3. This is 0. And this is still 1. Yeah. So what next? This is already 1. Then this has to go to 0. So let's do this. This is going to be 0, 1, 0, minus 1, 1, 0. And then I can use minus 3R2 plus R1. And this is still 1, and this will be 0. Minus 3 times 0, so this will still be 3. Minus 3 times minus 1 is going to be 3. 3 plus 1, it's a 4. Minus 3 times 1 is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 0, this is minus 3. Minus 3 times 0, everything is still 0. Then here, the third row will remain as this one. Okay. So now, which one has to go? This now has to go to 0. So here we took this to 0, we took this to 0, we took this to 0. So this is going to be minus 3R3 plus R1. No, minus 3R3 plus R1. So what is our pivot? No, it's going to be minus 3R3, yes. So R3. Now this is already 0, so this will still stand. Now this is going to be 1, 0, 0. So minus 3R3. So you have minus 3 times 3. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13. Hope this is correct. All right, let's see. We'll find out. So minus 3 times R3. So you have minus 3 times 0, which is 0. So here it's still going to be minus 3. Then minus 3 times 1, which is minus 3. So minus 3 plus 0, still minus 3. Find the sum of element in the first column of A inverse. So definitely something is wrong somewhere because we are not getting the right answer. So let's try to figure out what the problem is. Right, so let's see here, where we said minus R1 plus R3. This is going to be minus R1 plus R3. So this is supposed to be minus 1. So this is minus 1. Okay. So here, where we said minus 1, so we have this is going to be minus 3R2 plus R1. So here we are using this as what? As a pivot. So we will have minus 3 times this is still 1. This will give us 0. This will remain as 3. We'll have 3. So minus 3R2. So you have 3 plus 1. Yeah, so this will be 3 plus what? Plus 1. Yeah, which is a 4. And this is minus 3 plus 0, which is minus 3. This is good. And then this will be 0, 0, 1. And here should be minus 1. And 0 and 1. Okay. So this cannot be. So now here it's 1. So since this is 1, we're supposed to use minus, and we want to convert this to 0. So it is minus 3R3 plus R1. All right. So here you have minus 3R3 plus R1. Don't forget that here it's supposed to be minus 1. So you have minus 3 times 1, which is 3. Yeah, so 3 plus 4. This is 7. Okay. So we find now, I think the A inverse is going to be this one here, which is 7 minus 1 minus 1 minus 3, 1, 0, minus 3, 0, 1. And now you want to find the sum of all the elements in the what? The element in the first column. So this element. And you can see that the sum will give us what? Will give us 5. All right. So let's go to example 3. Now, what is example? question number 3. Let me write this again. So the sum here is 7 plus minus 1 plus minus 1, which is equals to 5. Right. Now, if you look at number 3, what is it asking us to do? You have A and you have A inverse. All right. So here, this is A and this is A inverse. Now, one thing we know is that anytime you multiply A and its inverse, it should give you an identity. So it means A inverse is going to give us I3, right? In other words, this means that if you do this, what is A? 1, 2, minus 1, 2, 3, minus 1, 3, 6, minus n. If you multiply with 0 to m, minus 1, minus 1, 1, minus 3, 0, 1. This is nothing but 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. So what this mean? What does this mean? It means that we can easily, okay, let me fix this. And here it's minus 3, 0, 1. So this should be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Right. So all you need to do is you just try to see where there is m and where there is n, and you can get this one. So for example, now this is 1. You can use 1 if you want. This is 1. So what does this 1 represent? This 1 simply, this is like A11. So this will come from where? It will come from the product of the first row and the first column. So it means that if you do this one, the first row multiply by the first column, okay, it's going to give you 1, right? But you can see that, so it means if you have this one, this is going to give us 1. Yes. But we don't need that because we need the one that will give us m and n. So because that is what we need. So you look at where do you have n? This is n. N is coming from the third row, right? So you can do like this. If you multiply the element in the third row, and also maybe you can use the first column, it's okay. What will this element give you? This element is this is row 3, column 1, right? So it means it's going to give you which element? It's going to give you A31. So it's going to give you 0. So what we'll simply do is we will write this 3, 6 minus n multiplied by 0 minus 1 minus 3. We know it's going to give us 0. So it means we can find n. Okay, so what do we do now? We just need to multiply. All right. So if you multiply 3 times 0, it's going to be 0 minus 6, then plus what? 3n equals to 0. So 3n is going to be 6. So n is what? N is 2. Also, you can see now, if you are looking for n, for m, yes. How do you get m? You can do this one. This is first row or any of the rows. You can do first row and what's this one? So this is first row, third column. So since you have first row, third column, it should give you what? It should give you A13. It should also give you 0. So you can use that one. So you can say the first row and what? M11 is going to be what? It's going to be also 0. Right? So this will give us M plus 2 minus 1 equals to 0. So this is M plus 1 equals to 0. So M is equals to minus 1. So now we can find the sum. Which is equals to 2 plus minus 1, which is equals to 1. All right, so this is just using two things. We know that A times its inverse must be identity. And also we use the row by column multiplication, which we did earlier. Because here, what does this represent? This represents A11, A12, A13, right? So for A11, this is just row 1. This is coming from row 1 times row times column 1. Okay, okay, no, this is row 3. So we use 0 and 0. So you can use 0 and 0. So sorry, this is row 3. And what? And column 1. Okay. Why this one is coming from where? Row 1, column 3. So it's your choice. You can use any one, but use the one where it has n and it has m, where you can easily find m and n. So let's move to the next question. Question 1 is saying, given the matrices M inverse is given, N inverse is given, so you want to find the sum of the element in the first row. Now here, we will use the property of inverse. If you have inverse, remember in one of the properties we said inverse of AB inverse is the same thing as B inverse and what's A inverse. So that is what we want to use here. So here we're dealing with M and N. So this will just be equal to N inverse multiplied by what's M inverse. But what is N inverse? N inverse is 1, 2, minus 2, minus 3. That is N inverse. Why M inverse is what? M inverse is 2, 7, 1, and 4. Okay. So Now you're looking for the sum of the elements in the what? In the first row. So, you know, this is going to be, this is like 2 by 2 multiplied by 2 by 2. So you're going to have something like this. It's also going to be 2 by 2, right? But you are not interested, you're interested in only this one. So you can decide to just do all of it. So it's going to be 1 times 2 plus what? 2 times 1. That will be the first element here. Then here will be 1 times 7 plus what? 2 times 4. This is minus 2 times 2 plus minus 3 times 1. Then minus 2 times 7. And then minus 3 times 4. So this, you can have this as what? This is just 1 times 2 is 2. So you have 2 plus 2. I think this is 4. And here is minus 2 times 2 is 4, right? And then minus 3. So you have minus 4, minus 3. So maybe minus 7. Okay. Then this one here is 1 times 7, which is 7. So you have 7 plus 8. This is 15. And here it's minus 14. So I think it's minus 14 minus 12, which is about maybe minus 26. Okay. But what are we interested? We're interested in the sum of the element in the what? In the first row. So it means this one, like this. And that should give us 19. Over. Now, number 5. Number 5, it said if the matrix equation A to power 4 is equals to I is true, then what is A inverse? So this is just need to do, you have A4, A to power 4 is equals to I. What is A inverse? So remember this, you can write as A to power, you can write as A times A to power 3 equals to I, right? And then you can multiply both sides by A inverse. So you have A inverse times A to power 3 equals to A inverse times what? Times I. You see that? So you are multiplying from the left, both sides by A inverse. Now, this A inverse times A, remember, it's going to become I. So we don't know the dimension of A, so we assume it's just I. So maybe IN. So times what? A to power 3. And this is also going to be AI, A inverse times I. Now, I, whether it's IN for whatever n, I times A to power 3 is just going to be A to power 3. And A inverse times I is just going to be A inverse. So it means that your A inverse is equals to what? A to power 3. All right, so this is just using which idea now? You can write A to power 4 as A times A to power 3. Then you multiply both sides by A inverse. So A inverse of A will go to I. So you will arrive at this one. A inverse is the same thing as A to power 3, the same story. All right, so this is the end for this video. Thank you for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, kindly do that. Share with your friends and also like. If you have any question, you put it in the comment section. Thank you for watching.